Fish with his last stick-on forecast before tomorrow's new electronic weather on BBC One. From me, good night.
Now, with news of tomorrow night's Panorama, here's Fred Emery.
High over the North Sea, the RAF intercepts Russian planes. Today it's almost a game. One day it could be for real. To give even earlier warning, Britain's been developing our own Nimrod flying radar station. Government chose to buy British. We could have had an American plane that was already working, AWACS, but Britain's choice seems now to have gone terribly wrong.
Britain's airborne early warning system's in a total shambles. Our country is exposed to the gravest possible risks.
The Nimrod project's 5 years behind schedule, costs 50% more than planned, and it's still not up to specification. In Panorama, Tom Mangold investigates how this critical defence decision has turned into a bad deal for Britain. That's Panorama tomorrow night on BBC One at the new time of 9:25.
Good evening to you. There were some respectable temperatures around today for a change, but it was only really a brief respite because as this ridge of high pressure squeezes down from the northeast, those easterly winds are going to pay a return visit, and southern parts look like turning quite a bit colder once again. This front's fairly interesting. It's brought some sleet or snow to northern parts of Scotland. That will move on out of the way, but more fronts on the horizon to do a repeat performance later on tomorrow. On the satellite picture you can see that first area of cloud across that northern part of Scotland, but for much of the country skies are fairly clear at the moment, but then further out to the west another bank of cloud looming on its way for tomorrow. But as far as tonight's concerned, over Scotland and Northern Ireland I think a pretty cloudy picture, and in central and northern parts especially some outbreaks of sleet or snow, but that tending to fizzle out as the night goes on. For England and Wales, apart from the odd snow flurry near to the east coast, a dry night, but a very cold night, another one of those sharp frosts, and some patches of fog around as well before the morning. I think that fog, though, will thin during the morning, and for much of the country, settling then into a dry day, a bright one with some sunshine, but very cold again, especially in southern parts where temperatures will only creep up to about 1 degree centigrade, 34 degrees Fahrenheit. In the more central and northern parts of Scotland, staying pretty cloudy, a little snow about to begin with, and rather more in the way of sleet or snow late in the day. Well, that's the actual end of the forecast, but as far as the weathermen are concerned, tonight is a very important night indeed, because it marks a complete change in the weather. We're going to say goodbye to all these magnetic symbols. We're going to say goodbye to this magnetic licorice, or as Ian calls it, his knicker elastic. We're going to say goodbye to these highly sophisticated satellite pictures sitting here on a music stand, the pointer down there below, because we're going all electronic, and we'll be able to show you from tomorrow the way the weather systems are going to develop and move in the days ahead. And we'll be introducing it by means of a small programme. It'll be shown on BBC One, first of all, at 12:10, and again in the late evening at 11:40. We're also going to show the programme, it's called A Change in the Weather, on BBC Two at 7:30. Well, that's all from me. All that remains is for me to wish you all a very good night and say goodbye to all this.
Hello. Things are changing at breakfast time starting this Monday. Instead of finishing at 9 o'clock, we're going to make more of your morning from now on by transmitting until 9:20 every weekday. And we'll also be coming on the air a little later, at 10 minutes to 7 each morning. But that is all that's changing. Familiar breakfast time landmarks, the hourly news bulletins, your local travel information and so on, they stay just as they've always been. Diana Moran, the Green Goddess, delighted to say she's back, and so is another breakfast time favourite.
You know what you can do with your trumpet?
Oh, yeah.
And there are other really tremendous new features too, so please join myself, Selina and the Breakfast Time team every weekday from 6:50, the new time, until 9:20. See you on Monday.
Now, on BBC One, we discover that fact can often be stranger than fiction, and after all, that's life.